Okay, as it started. Yeah. Oh, yes, we're going. Hi, Mike Donovan, founder of GB Unites, introducing the one and only Alex Kozma, founder of the Line of Intent. Fantastic name, martial artist extraordinaire. We used to fight in London, and he had huge chi, lots of energy, and became almost impossible to spar against. But it was we had a brilliant time. And just give us a bit of your background on I love the name Line of Intent. I think it's fantastic. And I love the kind of spiritual background that you have in all of your teaching. So give us a bit of we've always had this kind of dialogue about the lineage in, the difference between internal martial arts and external, if there is one, and the lineage that you follow when you've been in terms of what you communicate to your students. Fair enough? Is that a good start?
Okay. How many days do you have to reply? Yes, I started training when I was 12 and went to Asia when I was 16. And then over the last, 30 years, I've spent a lot of time in Asia. And also trained with people here as well, but lived with teachers in Asia quite a bit. So that was a very, incredible journey, really. I studied with one master in Taiwan and lived with his family for a few years. He used to be the teacher of the bodyguards of Taiwan's presidential family. So he was very old school, internal martial arts, and also traditional Chinese medicine and Buddhist meditation. So the teaching was all of these things fused: the Buddhist cultivation, the medicine, and the traditional martial art. And generally in Asia, it's like that. It's not just you're doing this and it's just fighting. Because the old time warriors, they knew that, okay, this is about life or death practice, right? It was functional in the sense you were going to battle to use it. You're going to be using it perhaps to protect your village or your clan or your country or whatever, meaning that you may die as much as the other guy may die. So it brought up all these questions about life and death, and to deal with that they needed some kind of spiritual practice and also some kind of medical practice to deal with the injuries. So you asked about lineage. The traditional lineage tends to fuse these three aspects: the medical, meditative, and martial. Oh, and line of intent. Where did the name come from? So one of the systems I practice is called Hsing Yi, which is, as we've discussed before, and you know it because you practice it. It's got the core of it is 5 element methods. So we have like metal, fire, water, and so on. So Hsing Yi is very much about it come from the spear. So it's very much about setting up a line of intention that starts with your mind and then comes out through the weapon. So I took it from this idea, the line of intent. I just thought it was a great concept. And it's been going since about 1998. I started to print my own books in Taiwan, just small scale, and sell them online. And then it's grown and grown. So we have a lot of different films and books and instructional series you can see on the website.
Yeah, you've frozen a bit there, but never mind. I always love the line of intent because I love Carlos Castaneda's definition of ruthlessness was the connection of intent and action. It was nothing more than that. It was meaning if you said you were going to do something, you did it and you connected it.
Yeah.
And that's what Castaneda saw as good. And I love, I know I've seen you practice with your students and you do the sword form, and just give us a bit of that. You have been you've been to China and to Taiwan, and you've kind of you've spent all your life dedicated to really the application of Chinese medicine, the fighting forms as well as sword form, and just give us a bit of feeling of how that Taoist philosophies influenced your life.
Well, the Taoism is more connected with the medicine and the martial arts, and then the Buddhism is the meditative side. But in China, you know, they really combine Taoist, Buddhist, Confucian. It's almost like in the society, in traditional Chinese society, those three are considered three aspects of spirituality. You know, in the West, we think you're either you're a Buddhist or you're a Christian, but in China, they think of it more like what they call Tao could be Buddhist Tao, could be Confucian Tao, could be Taoist Tao. So that, yeah, like we discussed before in Japanese culture, you can do flower arranging as a path to spiritual awakening, right? Tea ceremony, martial art, making swords. They're all ways of refining, cultivating your character to understand something beyond the ego. That's really the crux of it.
It is always, I mean, I love the way we used to fight to understand our egos, because it always manifested in fighting. You know, anger creates tension, and you can always feel that in someone's body if you're in close combat. Now you get the story of the Book of the Five Rings. I love that story of how the guy knew that this young man was the master of every physical discipline, was much better than him. But what was his name? Mashimoto, was it? Yes.
Musashi, Miyamoto Musashi, yeah.
Yeah. And how he chose that edge of the lake, and he came late, and he allowed his opponent to see him being late for at least 45 minutes. So he was absolutely enraged, and his pride had kicked in, and he was killed literally within minutes. It's interesting how our ego is always the weakness, and we don't understand it. I mean, that I think is the issue of the West today. We really don't understand the manifestation of ego in the physical and mental, and in all bodies. You know, as
I think if we could see the damage that the ego energies create in the future, and you know, in this lifetime for us and for other people, if we could really see it in the moment, we'd be appalled and we wouldn't act like that. Like somebody showed me today one of these road rage videos. It was filmed on the camera from the driver's perspective, and he stopped and got out. It was a very minor thing, and the other guy just attacked him. And I immediately felt, oh, this is so many people now that they cannot control the most simple emotions. And we're not encouraged to. There's no sense of this when we're children. There's no education system to do this. So in the Asian societies, they seem very stifled, the emotions, but actually they're trying to train them to control the base emotions, because it's coming from Zen, right? This is influenced by Zen from Buddhism. So yeah, you're completely right. Yeah.
The Japanese girl I went out with for a while, she used to say all Western men were like leaky sieves. They were leaking energy everywhere. And I said you were like a closed pot on a Bunsen burner. But it is true, the ego energies, we just don't have an understanding. The spirit, you know, Taoism, they kind of naturally had to overcome that and control. You know, if you look at the backbiting in our politics and the amount of personalities, you know, people talk about personalities, they don't talk about principles anymore. They don't talk about
and personality and character is different, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like your personality is what you've created to present yourself to the world or to shield yourself, but your character is what the good things that you put into your being in your lifetime create either good or bad characters. There could be bad things, but personality is fake, character is real.
Yeah,
because character is...
okay.
yeah, it's a result of your volitional actions. In other words, you're creating karma, good or bad, with your character, be that good or bad character. But personality is this ephemeral, what would you call it? What's the word? Fantastical.
They want to be perceived by the world.
Yeah, it's not real. It's only real when you look in the mirror and you think, oh, that's me, right? But it's got no use whatsoever. So the quicker that we can see through it, the better. And then get down to the character, which is more real. The character is the you could say, the soul body sense of the reality of who we are. We've created it through the volitional action. Personality is just imagination of who we want to be perceived as. So we have to be able to see this is personality, this is character. They're very different things.
Well, some people are very practiced at projecting their personality on the world. Very practiced. Very skillful.
Yeah.
You have to prod them a lot to be able to find the real person underneath. And
difficult.
Sometimes you get a real shock if you prod. I don't know what it is about the spirituality, because I've often heard that with people who are in tune with themselves, they naturally create anger around, people get angry with them. Have you heard of that? It's not, and they may be calming it, but it's, I've had that from quite a few people where
what do you mean, Mike? Could you explain again?
And sometimes with somebody, yeah, no, I need to. I'm mumbling a bit there myself. I have had impressions of people who have been in tune with themselves, that they walk in and somehow they bring out the anger in people.
I see what you mean. Yeah, people don't like stillness as well. They don't like. Yeah. If you are full of emotional turmoil and you see somebody that's still, of course that can be a threat, isn't it? Depending on the situation. But the good news is that if you have a method and you have a good teacher, so that's what we're coming back to, is these arts or these meditative systems. You have a method and a teacher. Even the most messed up mind can become quiet, and even the most disturbed personality can become what? Can become balanced. So the point is, do you have a method, and do you have a good teacher that really embodies it? Not like one of these, fake gurus who wants to dominate the students, but just a simple teacher who can be like a spiritual friend or a spiritual brother. And if you have this and the method, then you can, it doesn't matter how much turmoil your self is in, you can quiet your mind, you can control your emotion, and you can develop wisdom. If you develop wisdom, life becomes better. Yeah, you don't avoid the problems, but you can deal with things much better.
I've listened to a lot of people thinking the mind is the be-all and end-all, and that's not where I see stillness. Do you see stillness in that area?
It's everything. It's not just the mental mind or the emotion. It's everything. It's your whole. There's many levels of the self, isn't there? It's not just your thought process or your emotional or your physical. You have to integrate all of these things, understand all of them separately, and then be able to find the center. You find the center, all the other stuff becomes clear. But I think a lot of modern society is very much about the surface, the periphery of stuff. But we need to get back to the center.
And that's where stillness is. I mean, we understand that in martial arts. We understand what taking someone's center is. And it's the same in the emotional world. When I lose my center emotionally, actually I can lose it, but still keep my center. It doesn't necessarily, I don't have to give my center away. But it is, it's a fascinating concept, really. Of getting a bit of...
Yeah, you put your finger on it. In martial arts, I think that's why we love martial arts as well. It's not just about protection. or keeping healthy. It's a direct way of testing, are you centered? And you can make all the excuses afterwards, and you've seen this in the pushing sessions we used to have in the park with people. People will try to bluster, make excuses, or get you back, get their revenge because, you know, it brought up something. But at the end of the day, you know, that moment, you get whacked, or you get pushed or swept, you've lost your center. You cannot find excuses. It's just what it is, right?
Yeah. And that happens in all fields. Omran, you know, he used to say, how many fields are there? There are, I think, principally 7 or 8, but then it extends well beyond that. So 12 to 13, I don't know. But yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, you know, the line of intent, I think, is, you know, the work that you do up in Cambridge and in London. Do you go to London still?
No, not very much. Mainly Cambridge, just here.
Yeah, and you're out in you're the king of the mound over there now, aren't you? You're on the hill, Cambridge, that hill, or near there.
Actually, this is the only shelter within like a mile of my house. So this is where I teach quite often. Yeah.
Okay, and so what's your next program? What are you know, because I mean, you spend a lot of time with students. What's your next goal with your programs? I'm getting a lot of feedback on this call for some reason. Yeah, but anyway, I'll have to try it in different locations again next time. You're loud and clear, but there's a kind of feedback loop.
Maybe it's echo or something. There's a couple of main things. One is, you know, I'm doing these instructional videos for Tai Chi Chuan and Hsing Yi and so on. So more and more people are, because people from other countries want to practice. And initially I thought this isn't going to work. There's no way you can transmit this kind of practice through long distance. But actually it's working quite well because people send me videos back and then I can criticize or feedback. So that's one thing. The other thing is I'm going to start a mountain retreat center, probably in Wales, and then make retreats, like full-time meditation, martial art retreat. So we're working on that at the moment. That's going to come out maybe in early next year.
Okay, brilliant. And
by the way, Mike, and we should mention that you and I are working on a series of videos together.
Yeah,
which the 5 element videos, so, and the courses coming off of that. So that will be hopefully in a maybe 6 months or so we can bring something out into the world.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, and bringing good things into the world. As you know, we have a lot of power-hungry people and leaders, don't we? What would your words of wisdom be to the world? I mean, I think Lao Tzu had a great one. It says, "There's no victory if you can't let it go."
If you can't what? Sorry.
If you can't let go, there's no victory if you can't let go of it.
Yeah, I don't know, because you know what a lot of people seem to be after. It's not interesting for me, so I don't know. I just practice, do what I do. I love it. I've got no words of wisdom for anyone really. I just love what I do. I sometimes I struggle just with the same stuff as everyone else. So yeah.
That was a terrible question of mine, but it was a good one. We live in a very strange world.
We do. We definitely do. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things I noticed. One of the things I do notice recently is, you know, the last few years, people have become more disturbed and quicker to get upset, quicker to maybe mental problems, definitely physical problems. So the only word of wisdom is find a good practice of cultivation or internal martial arts. Do that, and it definitely works. It makes your life better. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to try and put your website up. Alex's website is The Line of Intent. He's an author, and I was just wondering, present, slides, video file, share screen. Okay, share screen. Am I doing it? The Line of Intent. Hang on.
Here it comes.
No, it's not coming yet. No, wrong one. I have to do it on here, I think. Hang on. So, Line of Intent, and you teach basically martial arts. And
yeah, I teach the meditative, medical, and martial side of Hsing Yi and Tai Chi. Yeah, I mean, if people are interested, they can. I teach private lessons mainly, and some retreats, so people can contact me if they're interested to practice.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that. I'll do that for another day when we have another chat.
Technology,
Alex, really
I know.
Technology and me at the moment, especially when I've had a long day. That's my excuse. But yeah, the Line of Intent is a nice little website. Alex has he's also got a YouTube channel called The Flying Monk, isn't it? Which is, and I'll put that in the boxes down below, so I'll put a few references when we print it on YouTube. Alex, brilliant to talk to you. We're going to have to
thank you, Mike.
I'll try and get this feedback loop. So I'll speak to you later. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. All the best with your work, Mike. Take care. Bye.